So Manchester United could have their permanent replacement for Ruben Amorim right in their hands. Yes, I am talking about Michael Carrick. So far, he has a 100% win rate in both of his games against Manchester City at home and Arsenal away at the Emirates. Obviously, in the first game of his managerial tenure, well, this time anyway, he did in fact beat Manchester City 2-0 at home in a very, very, very convincing performance. And Manchester United just looked so much better in that game. And then he goes away to the Emirates and beats a very, very hard to beat Arsenal side this season. 3-2 with two superb strikes from Patrick Dorgu and Matheus Cunha. They're looking to ban Matheus Cunha, by the way, for his celebration. Obviously, he did swear in the camera. He said, I said the F word or something. Come on, like, why? No one cares. No one cares. Just literally nobody cares. And then the commentator goes, we apologise if you heard any bad language there. Sorry, has no one ever heard a swear word before? You don't need to apologise for it. It's just a moment of passion. After a very, very good goal, just let the lads celebrate, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. It is. I just think, I mean, my team, crap at the minute, and, you know, Manchester United, I've got to give all credit to them, because they are playing really well at the minute. They've won 2 games in a row with Carrick already. So, you know, just let the lads celebrate. Just let him celebrate. He scored a really good goal, has every right to do that, in my opinion. Just stop being soft. Anyway, we're going to go into why Michael Carrick could become Manchester United's permanent manager if he gets them into the Champions League. If he gets them into the Champions League, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't become their permanent manager. If he goes on a really decent run, say he goes on maybe a 6-game winning run and gets them into the Champions League, I don't see why he shouldn't become their permanent manager. Obviously, last time they did, you know, permanently appoint an ex-player as the manager, it kind of went sour. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a really, really poor set of results in that 21-22 season, and he was eventually sacked, and that led to about 3 managerial appointments. No, it was 2. I think it was 2 managerial appointments. Obviously, Carrick took over, and then it was Ralf Rangnick. But we're going to take a look at Michael Carrick's CV in this video, and I'm going to tell you why he could become Manchester United's permanent manager, and why I think he should become Manchester United's permanent manager. So let's start with the recent results. So, obviously, back in 2022, he was the manager for a short amount of time before Ralf Rangnick took over, and that was because of the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And in that time, he won 2 games and drew 1. That was 2-1 against Villarreal in the Champions League. Ironically, a 3-2 win at home to Arsenal. In that, I think, something bizarre happened in that game. I think De Gea got fouled, didn't he? And then Emile Smith-Rowe scored. Could be a controversial moment in Premier League history there. But a 2-1 win over Villarreal in the Champions League, and then a 3-2 win over Arsenal in the Premier League, funnily enough. That's very ironic. That is very ironic. And then a 1-1 draw away Chelsea. I vividly remember that game. I vividly remember watching that game. I can't remember who scored. I think it was Ronaldo, but I vividly remember it. I do vividly. I watched that game. And then obviously in 2026, he does continue with his reign at Manchester United with a 2-0 win over Manchester City in a very, very convincing performance at Old Trafford. And then, funnily enough, a 3-2 win away from home at the Emirates against Arsenal, who are a very, very good team this season. A very, very convincing team to beat. And, you know, not many teams have been able to beat this side. So for Michael Carrick to go to the Emirates and not just play well, it's not like they got lucky, they played really, really well, and Arsenal only got their second goal from a set piece. It was inevitable that was going to happen. Arsenal are just inevitable when it comes to to corners, free kicks, anything. Well, maybe not anything, but I just think that Arsenal wouldn't have even got a second goal if that. The only reason why they scored a first goal was because it went in off Martinez in the first half. That was the only reason why. I think they went 1-0 up, didn't they? That was the only reason why they scored their first goal, because it come off Martinez and everyone thought it come off Timber. But they only scored the second goal because it came from a corner. It didn't come from open play. So, Arsenal were very poor in this game. They weren't good at all. The thing is with Arsenal, when they're bad in games, they're bad. Like the draw against Liverpool, they were very lacklustre. Bear in mind, Liverpool didn't score, neither did Arsenal. It was a 0-0 draw. But Arsenal were very lacklustre against a very poor Liverpool team at the minute. So, and they were poor against Manchester United, who, at times this season have been poor. They finished 15th last season. And you're the league leaders, and Manchester United do kind of get up for these sort of games, though, don't they? They beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield. They beat Man City 2-0 at Old Trafford. They do get up for these big games, and it's really weird how they don't win the small games. I mean, it sometimes just doesn't work like that in football, but it's weird to me how they don't win the small games against like Burnley and like maybe Bournemouth convincingly, but then they beat Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal with almost ease. It's weird. It's strange to me. But yeah, they did look very convincing in that game against Manchester City, and that's maybe what Erik ten Hag has implemented into this team, because, it wasn't good with Ruben Amorim, was it? But we are going to take a deeper look into Michael Carrick's CV as a manager so far. Obviously, he did manage Middlesbrough in the 22-23 season all the way to the 24-25 season, so just lasted under 4 seasons. And in his first season at Middlesbrough, got them a 4th place finish, got them into the playoffs, which eventually ended in a 1-0 loss. Sorry, I've got it in my notes here. A 1-0 loss at home to Coventry in the semi-finals of the playoffs, championship playoffs in 22-23, and then got them a 10th place finish in, I think it was last season, and got them a 10th place finish 24-25, which eventually led to him being dismissed from the club because he failed to get them into the playoffs. And that was, his departure was June the 4th, 2025. But in his time at Middlesbrough, one memorable moment was beating Chelsea 1-0 at, I've forgotten what their ground's called. I've forgotten what Middlesbrough's ground is called, but they beat Chelsea 1-0 at home in the Carabao Cup semi-final with Michael Carrick at the helm. Hayden Hackney obviously did score the goal in that game. They beat a very, very poor Chelsea side, by the way. A Chelsea side that that's probably worth around £5 to £6 billion, and they lost to a team full of kids in the Carabao Cup final that season. Remember that? Chelsea, the £1 billion bottle jobs versus Klopp's kids. They lost to a team full of teenagers in the final when they had Conor Bradley, who played for us, Conor Gallagher, Ben Chilwell, who else played? Kai Havertz didn't play for them. Cole Palmer, even though I think he might have been injured, maybe not. But they did have a very good team in that final, and they lost to a team full of teenagers. Not good. But yeah, obviously Carrick did beat Chelsea in his 3-season tenure at Middlesbrough. This is looking really good for Michael Carrick. Obviously, if he can win his next 6 games that are Fulham at home, Tottenham at home, West Ham away, Everton away, and then Crystal Palace. I don't know, I've just written Crystal there, but Crystal Palace at home. That Man United fan might get to actually cut his hair finally. I mean, who knows what could happen in the next 5 games, but this run of games here really does look like this guy's going to get to cut his hair. I expect at least a 2 or 3-0 win against Fulham, because it's at Old Trafford. I mean, I think that they'll beat Tottenham, I think, with ease. 2-3-0 again, maybe, possibly more. West Ham, Man United is going to be easy again. 3-0, maybe. I just don't think West Ham are going to get near scoring in that game. And then I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win against Everton. And then Crystal Palace have not been good of late. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Man United. I think they're going to win all their next 5 games, and that guy's going to get to cut his hair. Imagine that, though. This guy's had to wait a year. This guy's had to wait for Ruben Amorim to get sacked and then Michael Carrick to come in to actually possibly get his hair cut. That's how long it's taken. But yeah, United are actually starting to get into a rhythm now, and it's crazy to see, because like not long ago these lot were not very good at all. They'd lost to Grimsby. Obviously, no one's going to forget that for a very, very long time. No one's going to forget that for ages. I'm just so glad that happened. So it took the cushion. So it took the, so it took a bit of the shine off. Shine, I won't really call it shine. It took a bit of tension away from us losing to Plymouth. That haunted me for days, that did. Yeah, so far, Michael Carrick's got a very good CV to become the permanent Manchester United manager. And he plays a good team. He plays Mainu, who obviously Manchester United fans have been begging to play, been begging to start for absolutely ages. Ruben Amorim was just too stubborn, and now Mainu's playing in the 10. It's, what I call it, the 10, I don't think I would maybe. But he's playing in that midfield now, and that's good, because this is what Mainu needs. Mainu is a class player, in my opinion. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I will admit that he's a class player. I've watched him play, and that game against... there was 2 games in the 23-24 season, the FA Cup, where United beat Liverpool 4-3. Mainu was playing in that game, and he was very good that game. And I think he scored as well. Did he? I think he did. Or was that the 2-2? I think he scored in the 2-2. Yeah, he scored in the 2-2. And that was a very good goal. He's a very, very good player. And he's just too good to be left on the bench, in my opinion. He's just too good to be left on that bench. So I'm glad that... I'm not glad that he's, I'm not glad that he's playing, to be honest, because I you know what I mean? I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm not glad about any Manchester United players. But, for Manchester United fans, of course, it's good to see him playing because he's a class player. I'm not going to not admit that he's a good player because he's a really good player, in my opinion. I think Kobbie Mainoo's a class player. I mean, will he get on the plane to go to the World Cup in this summer? I think that's maybe a step too far because there are better players, in my opinion. I still think he's class, but there are better players to go to the World Cup. I don't think he will get on the plane, to be honest. He could go, but I don't think he'll start many games in the World Cup. He might not even go to the World Cup for England. And now I'm going to tell you why Amorim maybe didn't work. Let's do this one. So I think just hear me out. I think he was thrown into the sea with a bunch of sharks when he was just a goldfish. He didn't want to take the job, not even halfway through the season. He took the job November of last year, November of 2024, and he got a 15th place finish with Manchester United. He was absolutely just thrown in there. He didn't have much time to assess his squad at all, and he was basically left with what Erik ten Hag gave him when he was sacked. I think Ruben Amorim would have worked had he have been given a full pre-season and a much bigger period of time. He was sacked within 1 year and 2 months. He was given 1 year and 2 months to turn things around at Manchester United. But surely the aim for Manchester United is to get top 4, if not top 5, every season. Like, this is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in England. So their aim should be getting top 4 every season. Every season. I mean, a 15th place finish was really, really bad. Really bad. But I don't think we can put all that blame on Ruben Amorim, considering Erik ten Hag had a really poor start to the season. Yeah, his formation didn't work either. His formation didn't work. 3 at the back, that did not work at all, did it? With Amorim, 3 at the back did not work. Playing Yoro, Yoro in that mid. Who else plays in that? I haven't written everything down. I have not written everything down. I know Yoro played in that defence. Obviously, De Ligt as well, but De Ligt's a good player. So he's a good player. So I don't see why he would have been a problem, to be honest. Obviously, losing to Grimsby was a really bad result. And it probably, the owners of Manchester United, Ineos, they probably lost a lot of confidence very, very quickly. And probably lost a lot of trust in Ruben Amorim to turn things around. When they would have been watching that game. And the fact that it took them 87 minutes to get 2 goals. Not good. Against a League 2 side. Which, you're expected to win that game as Manchester United. And I just think that would have lost him a lot of trust and confidence by the board. And it was also just the things he said. After games as well. Like, this is the worst Manchester United team in history. It wouldn't have helped him. And then his comments after the Leeds game. I am the Manchester United coach, not the manager. I mean, I think that's ultimately what got him the sack. And probably, it was probably the straw that broke the camel's back as well for Manchester United's owners to sack Ruben Amorim. But in my opinion, I don't think Amorim was given enough time. And maybe Manchester United fans would agree with that. But I think combined, it was comments he said after games. It was the Grimsby loss. The formation he had just didn't work. And that's what got him so many losses in so many games. And ultimately, that's why he didn't work at Manchester United. But I just don't think he was given enough time. But that formation was never going to work, was it? I've literally got down what formation he played. A 3-4-2-1. 3 at the back. 4 in the middle. 2 up. 2 and then 1 up top. That formation's never going to work in the Premier League. And then you've got Carrick, who's playing a 4-2-3-1, which does work. 4 at the back. 2 in midfield. Yeah, so it's a 4-2-3-1. 4 at the back, 1 up top, 2 and then 4 in the midfield. That's how I can. I really struggle to explain that. I'm really sorry. But yeah, with Carrick, United don't just look good. They're looking really great. In fact, they just don't. They just don't look that bad, do they? With Michael Carrick. I mean, as I've said before, maybe making this managerial appointment permanent. I don't know. He's an ex. I mean, to be fair though, making it permanent would be great. He's an ex-player and he's a legend. He's the former Manchester United captain, and he gets the football club. Has a positive CV from his time at Middlesbrough as a manager. And this is what United need. This is what Manchester United need. The players obviously like him. I just don't think a lot of the players were playing for Ruben Amorim. But the players like him, clearly. And so far, he's done a great job at Manchester United. And if he gets them into the Champions League, what the heck is stopping them from making this permanent? Yeah. And I've also got a couple of reasons why hiring a permanent manager wouldn't be a good idea. Might not have the right system, as we've seen from Ruben Amorim. I mean, playing 3 at the back was insane. Just why? And it depends on what club they're coming from. Like Ruben Amorim, he came from Sporting. And Sporting, the difference between Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon is this big. It's humongous. And maybe, having a job as a manager in the Premier League is such a big of a difference to having a job in Liga B in Portugal for Sporting. So it depends what club they come from. It depends how competitive that league is. It just depends on who that manager is. But yeah, if Carrick goes well, then I just don't see the need for them to appoint a manager, another permanent manager, which could go tits up. If they appoint another manager, a permanent manager, if they appoint a permanent manager instead of just keeping Carrick, who could get them Champions League football, it could go wrong. You know, if they get in the Champions League and they have, say, I don't know, maybe an Areola or a Glasner, or I just don't think, would they be stupid enough to go for Glasner? Glasner 2 or 3 months ago would have been a dream managerial appointment for Manchester United, but they'd be silly to go for him now, surely. Maybe a Glasner or an Areola, that just wouldn't work in my opinion. And if Carrick gets you European football, then stick with him, because whatever he's doing is clearly working if he gets you European football. If he gets you Champions League football, keep him, in my opinion. Obviously, he might get another job offer somewhere else, and he might want to take that. But I do not see why he would reject being the permanent manager of Manchester United. If he becomes a permanent manager of Manchester United and does well, United could get top 4 every season. Who knows? But all they need is some stability, really. I mean, the owners just have to go, don't they? The owners are still in the wrong. The owners just aren't got it all. They've probably got the worst ownership in the country. The ownership that's been, running this club into the ground for 10 plus years. The club just needs a bit of stability. Not am I saying they're gonna win the league anytime soon. I'm not saying that. They're not getting near a Champions League anytime soon. But they just need a bit of stability. They just need a bit of stability. And Michael Carrick is going to be the person who gives that to them, because he looks like a great manager. I mean, we're only 2 games in, and it could go sour from here. But I just don't see where in these next 5 that he messes up. There might be a loss to Tottenham, or maybe an Everton, but I just don't see where he loses in these next 5. And what's stopping them from going on like a 10-game unbeaten run? What is stopping that? He plays the right players as well. Doesn't play Ugarte. Patrick Dorgu, obviously, devastating news about him this morning. He's going to be out for 10 weeks with an injury now. That's over a month. So, it's awful when a player gets injured. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I hate this club to the core. I despise this football club to the core, but I'm not going to celebrate a player getting injured. That's cruel. I'm not going to celebrate a player getting injured. No. Patrick Dorgu looks really good. Brian Mbeumo. He's a cheat code. He is a cheat code. And Matheus Cunha, them two have been absolutely integral to Manchester United this season. Casemiro as well, putting the shifts in at 33 years old. Obviously leaving at the end of the season. A legend, such a legend. Whether he plays for Manchester United or not, he's just a legend of football, isn't he, generally? But yeah, you can just tell there's a difference as well in this team. Harry Maguire got man of the match in that game. He was really good as well. And Senna Lamons. Yeah. Yeah, Michael Carrick, I think he's going to go on a very successful run with Manchester United. If you enjoyed that video, you know what to do. Which means like, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and I will see you lovely lot in the next one. Please take care of your beautiful selves. And as always, peace out.